Okay, welcome back. Let's continue with our lecture on mathematical methods. In the last class, we have seen power series solution for a differential equation. Previously, we have seen the differential equation is regular, that is no singularity in any of the coefficients of differential operator, then we can have power series solution. We have also seen that if the differential equation has a regular singular point, then we have at least one regular solution at the singular point. The second solution may or may not be regular. It mainly depends on the properties of a differential equation. Let's continue. One of the important aspects of a differential equation is eigenvalue problem, and this eigenvalue problem is really helping us to express any L2 function in terms of eigenfunctions of the differential operator. We have seen how does the differential operator d square y by dx square leads to Fourier series that can be done for an arbitrary differential equation, but the differential equation have to be written in the Stern-Liouville form. And this process is called Stern-Liouville problem, which results in the orthonormal polynomials which serves as a basis to any L2 function in the given. Before we continue, let's quickly look at the property of regular or irregular point at infinity. Earlier we have defined a differential equation at a point x is equal to x naught is regular if the coefficient px and qx are analytic at a point x naught. Same way we have defined a singularity is called a regular singularity if x minus x naught into p and x minus x naught whole square into q is analytic at a point x is equal to x naught. Now to evaluate this property at infinity, we need to do a certain transformation, that is x going to 1 by x is equal to xi. Naturally, x is equal to infinity correspond to xi is equal to 0, and we can evaluate the property of differential equation at xi is equal to 0. The transformation is given by xi is equal to 1 by x, and it is straightforward to compute dy by dx. That comes out to be minus xi square dy by dx. Now we have to also evaluate the second derivative, that is d square y by dx square is equal to xi to the power 4 d square y by d xi square plus 2 xi cube into dy by d xi. Now we substitute this in our differential equation in the standard form given here and collect the coefficient. We get d square y by d xi square plus 2 by xi minus p by xi square, this should be xi square, and dy by d xi plus q by xi 4 y is equal to 0. Now we apply our same rule for differential equation as xi going to 0. By applying the standard rule, we get 2 minus p by xi should be analytic at xi is equal to 0. Same way, q by xi square should be analytic. Translating this back into standard coordinate x, we again get the property at x is equal to infinity is x into p of x should be analytic, and x square into q of x should be analytic at x is equal to infinity. This is a way to check whether the point is a regular singular point at infinity. Now let us look at an example. Y double prime plus 1 by x cube y is equal to 0, or this is a differential operator. Now we can clearly see that this differential equation is neither regular nor regular singular point at x is equal to infinity. Now come to our main topic, that is a Stern-Liouville problem. Now let's look at the second order ordinary differential equation in Stern-Liouville form. Now the differential operator is given by Lx of y is equal to d by dx of p into dy by dx plus q into y. The homogeneous differential equation is when we have this differential operator is equal to 0. In this case, we are actually looking at the eigenvalue problem of this differential operator. That means that this differential operator, when Lx is operating on a y, which gives us a lambda times y itself. That is a standard definition of the eigenvalue problem, where you have an operator Lx of y would give you simply a lambda times y, where y is an eigenfunction and lambda is a eigenvalue. So we have explicitly given the form of differential equation which satisfies the eigenvalue problem. Now earlier we have seen the differential equation d square y by dx square plus omega square y is equal to 0 and worked on the eigenvalue problem and obtained the Fourier series. Same way, let us continue with the Stern-Liouville problem, and you will also understand why do we need this Stern-Liouville form. Let's consider eigenfunction and eigenvalues lambda 1 and y1 and lambda 2 y2 of the above differential equation, and then we apply the same trick we played earlier, that is solutions y1 and y2 satisfy the eigenvalue problem given here. The first one is eigenfunction is y1 and the eigenvalue is a lambda 1. Second one is eigenfunction is y2 and the eigenvalue is a lambda 2. Now we multiply the first equation by y2 and the second equation by y1 on the both sides, and then we subtract one from another, and then we try to simplify the terms. When we subtract them, the term corresponding to q into y1 y2 is the same on the both sides, so that cancels out. On the right hand side we have a lambda 1 minus lambda 2 into y1 y2. On the left hand side we have a little simplification to do, but we have done it earlier and we follow the same trick. Our standard trick is to absorb y2 inside the differentiation. While doing that, we get an extra term which is a p into dy1 by dx into dy2 by dx. Same way we do the same thing with the second term given here. We absorb y1 inside the differentiation, and this also leads to an extra term p into dy1 by dx into dy2 by dx. Now since we are subtracting these two, the term getting added extra gets subtracted out and we left with a much simpler term, that is a d by dx of p into y2 into y1 prime minus d by dx of p y1 into y2 prime. On the other side, we have a lambda 1 minus lambda 2 into y1 y2. Again, we can combine these two terms and simply write it as a d by dx of p into y2 into dy1 by dx minus y1 into dy2 by dx is equal to lambda 1 minus lambda 2 into y1 y2. Now this is where we do our trick of L2 function. We integrate on both sides in the interval a to b. Then we see that we obtain integral a to b d by dx of p into y2 into dy1 by dx minus y1 into dy2 by dx. This is an exact differential, so it can be integrated out very easily and we get the values on the boundaries. And the other side we simply have lambda 1 minus lambda 2, which are constants, comes out of the integral, and we have y1 dot y2. So we get that p into y2 dy1 by dx minus y1 into dy2 by dx evaluated on the boundary a and b is equal to lambda 1 minus lambda 2 into y1 dot y2. We have earlier seen when we did sine and cos function, again we are getting a very similar, except that their differential operator was very simple. In this case we have a somewhat more interesting differential operator, and then leads to more interesting boundary condition. Let me remind you that the term which comes inside the differentiation, or what we have on the boundary, is basically a well-known Wronskian of two solution y1 and y2. Keep in mind that if the solutions are linearly dependent, then the Wronskian becomes 0 and entire procedure is a fairly useless, because in such case they are linearly dependent, and then lambda 1 becomes lambda 2, and then we are not achieving anything interesting. Often we see that that is a case when what we call is a resonance. In order to understand that, we need to further do some work on differential equation. Let's go ahead and see what else we can make out. Now we can talk about orthonormal function. We have a dot product of our two eigenvalues y1 and y2 in terms of the certain combination of Wronskian and p of x on the boundary. The eigenfunctions of Stern-Liouville differential operator correspond to distinct eigenvalues are orthogonal if they satisfy the Stern-Liouville boundary condition. And the Stern-Liouville boundary condition is that a p of x into y2 into dy1 by dx minus y1 into dy2 by dx evaluated on the boundary should be equal to 0. If they satisfy this boundary condition, then the eigenfunctions are orthonormal. Since we already know them, they are linearly independent, we can say that they form the basis for any L2 function in the interval a and b. Now, the Stern-Liouville boundary condition is a generalization of both Dirichlet and Neumann boundary condition, is essentially general version, and your Dirichlet and Neumann boundary condition comes as a special cases of a Stern-Liouville boundary condition. Now let's look at various cases where the Stern-Liouville boundary condition is satisfied, that is Wronskian into p of x is equal to 0 is satisfied. Of course, let's remind you that earlier we have seen identity that p of x into Wronskian into p of x is constant. That identity also will be quite useful in evaluating the Stern-Liouville boundary condition. So one of the important boundary condition is Dirichlet boundary condition, that is function itself is a 0 on the boundary. It comes as a special case. The second condition is a Neumann boundary condition, where the function need not be 0 but its derivative is 0 on the boundary. Now you can have an intermediate boundary condition and you can have certain combination ym plus alpha into dym by dx is equal to 0 on the boundary, and the same way ym plus beta into dym by dx is 0 on the other boundary. So this is the most general case. You are basically trying to cook up a Stern-Liouville boundary condition by combining the function and its derivative. So that's why it's called the mixed boundary condition. Third but not the last, another interesting condition is that the p of x, it should not be capital P, it should be small p here. So p of x itself is a 0 on the boundary. Then this combination is naturally becomes 0 and the Stern-Liouville boundary conditions are naturally satisfied. These are some of the interesting cases of a Stern-Liouville boundary condition. As you have seen that you can cook it up such that this particular combinations become 0 on the boundary such that the eigenfunctions become orthonormal to each other. Now let's come to orthonormal function as a basis to L2 function. We have already proved the necessary requirement. Let's put all these things together in the form of a complete definition. Since the eigenfunction yn are linearly independent and orthonormal, they can be used as a basis. Now, if the eigenfunction satisfies Stern-Liouville boundary condition, the eigenfunction yn are orthonormal to each other and they are also linearly independent, and then we can use them as a basis to any Hilbert space or L2 space in the interval a to b. That means that any f of x be any L2 function in the space, then it can be expressed in terms of a basis function yn as f of x is equal to m going from 0 to infinity cm ym of x, and the coefficients cn are given by the dot product of function f of x onto the basis ym, that is cm is equal to integral a to b f of x ym of x dx. So this is how you express, given a differential operator in a Stern-Liouville form, you can use the eigenfunction to express the orthonormal. Given a second order differential operator in a Stern-Liouville form, one can use eigenfunction as an orthonormal basis to express any L2 function. Now let's quickly look at an example. This is what we call is a standard Legendre polynomial. This comes often in the electromagnetism when we use a Laplace equation in the spherical polar coordinate. Let's leave it all the details for later. Let's look at the differential operator 1 minus x square into dy by dx minus 2x into dy by dx plus lambda into y is equal to 0. This differential equation has a two singular point, that is at x is equal to plus or minus 1, and both of them are regular singular point. Now it can be easily written in the Stern-Liouville form, that is d by dx of 1 minus x square dy by dx plus lambda into y. Now it is easy to show that this does satisfy the Stern-Liouville boundary condition because of the simple reason that the p of x, that is equal to 1 minus x square, is 0 on the boundary minus 1 and plus 1. So that is one of the trivial cases of Stern-Liouville boundary condition. Now once we have all these things, one can often use them as a orthonormal basis and express any function in terms of eigenfunctions of the Legendre. Now the usual convention is to evaluate the power series solution at x is equal to 0. We have a singular point at x is equal to plus or minus 1, but x is equal to 0 is regular point. That's why we can simply express the solution as y is equal to n going from 0 to infinity Cn xn. In this case, we don't need initial equation. This is a regular point. We can substitute the power series solution in the differential equation and we can obtain the recurrence relation for the coefficient Cn's. Now, it can be easily shown that the power series actually terminates for some integer n such that n into n plus 1 is greater than eigenfunction lambda. Then the power series terminate. That's why you call them as a Legendre polynomial. Solution to Legendre ordinary differential equation is a Legendre polynomial because the power series terminate at n into n plus 1. Now we can have a look at the Legendre polynomials. So we have a differential equation which is given in the standard form and we have a power series solution given at x is equal to 0. It is easy to show that this power series gives the recurrence relation an plus 2 is equal to n into n plus 1 minus l into l plus 1 divided by n plus 2 into n plus 1. You can see that I have renamed the eigenvalue as a L into L plus 1 so that we can terminate at n is equal to L. Now by using this recurrence relation we can obtain the Legendre polynomials. Starting for L is equal to 0, we have a solution P0 is equal to 1. It is straightforward. A0 is not constrained, but we usually take it to be 1. Once we have A0, we can obtain the rest of the even coefficient. We can easily obtain P2 and P4, and that Legendre polynomial for P4 is given by half into 3x square minus 1. And P4 is given by 1 by 8 into 35x to the power 4 minus 30x square plus 3. Now there is another odd term that remains independent of even term. So we also need to give A1 in this case. Once we given A1 to be 1, we can obtain the A3 and A5 and so on. If you take A1 to be 1, then we have a P1 of x is equal to x and P3 of x is equal to half 5 into x to the power 3 minus 3x. So we see that even and odd Legendre polynomials are separated out based on the initial coefficient and then we can obtain them using the recurrence relation. Let's quickly look at the plot of these for a few values of L. For L is equal to 0, we have constant. There is nothing to do. L is equal to 1 is equal to f of x is equal to x. L is equal to 2 is a parabola and then it keep on increasing polynomials of higher and higher order, and you have to see that all of them takes the value of plus or minus 1 on the boundary. You see that at plus 1 they are all 1, at minus 1 for even function they are all plus 1, for odd function they are all minus 1. So this is a standard pattern of a Legendre polynomial. You can see that they also have a various roots or oscillatory function. As you increase L, you get a higher and higher frequencies. That is the same way as we have seen in the sine and cos function. The one difference between sine and cos here is that the roots of a sine and cos comes at the regular interval. Here the root need not come at the regular interval. It can come on its own. There are various properties of Legendre polynomial. They are very important because they come in the case of a Laplace equation in spherical polar coordinate system. So the detailed properties of a Legendre polynomials are very important. However, we will not cover all the detail. If one want to look at them, one can look in the book of mathematical physics by Hafken. There is a whole lot of details about Legendre polynomials are given there. Now, orthogonality of a Legendre polynomial. Let us explicitly see what happens. So we have a differential equation that is d by dx of 1 minus x square into dpl of x by dx plus L into L plus 1 PL of x. Now we see that because of the series terminates for L n into n plus 1, we just rename the eigenfunction as L into L plus 1 so that we have a easier notation that the eigenfunction terminate at L is equal to n. So once we have this, we have various eigenfunctions. We have seen that P of x is 0, so it satisfies the Stern-Liouville boundary condition. That's one of the trivial cases of them. And one important thing to notice is that these Legendre polynomial are orthogonal but not orthonormal. That is, PL of x dot PL of x is not delta L into L prime. It in fact has a value a square of L. To make it orthonormal, we simply have to divide by a of L for each term. So we need to determine that. That's the integral minus 1 to plus 1 PL of x into PL of x dx. So that one need to evaluate, and one can do it step by step. There are a general procedure to do it. Since we have evaluated sum of polynomials, we can directly compute them. So we get a0 square, that is a normalizing constant for p0 is simply 2. Same way we can find out the p1 square integrated from minus 1 to plus 1 would give us 2 by 3. And same way p2, that is a2 square, would be 2 by 5, and a3 square will be 2 by 7, and a4 square is 2 by 9. So these are the normalizing constant. Each one need to be used so that Legendre polynomials becomes orthonormal functions which can be used for expressing an L2 function. Now I have given the 4 or 5 polynomials, and we have also given the normalizing constant for that. This is asking for an homework problem. Express the following function in terms of Legendre series in the interval minus 1 to plus 1. Compute 4 terms. You just need to compute 4 terms for L is equal to 0, 1, 2 and 3. The function f of x is given by f of x is equal to plus 1 when x is greater than 0, minus 1 when x is less than 0. That is basically a step function from minus 1 to plus 1, and that need to be expressed in terms of Legendre series for 4 terms. And once you finish, you can upload it on the vLearn. I will stop here and we will continue with the next lecture.